A very good afternoon to all the students attending the online lecture for third year BCom for the subject Management. It is indeed a pleasure to begin with the subject of Management for semester 5. But before I actually start explaining you with the chapters and its contents, I wanted to begin with the first lecture where I could give you a brief idea, an overview about the syllabus structure for the subject of management, along with the different and the varied topics that are covered in every unit of management for semester 5. So all the students who have opted for management as a subsidiary subject need to pay attention as to what is the syllabus structure for the coming semester and what are the topics they need to go through while they shall be preparing for management. I have given the list of all the units over here. Along with that, you can see the weightage on the right hand side. Even the topics that shall be covered in every unit have been mentioned very clearly. To begin with, you have unit number 1 that talks about risk management. The weightage, as you see, is 25% on the right hand side. Now, because the subject is all about management, you have 4 different types of managements that you need to understand for the coming semester. First of which is risk management. If you see the topics, it begins with the very common word risk. Now, you have already opted banking as your principal subject, so risk is something you all are aware about. When I say risk, something that comes to your mind can be any sort of probability, a possibility of a loss or a danger that may come out as an event. We perform some events, we perform some actions, and it may result into a loss also or a gain also. So when there is a possibility, there is a probability of something bad to happen or some kind of loss to happen, it is nothing but a risk for us. But definitely in a business organization, no organization can run without accepting the fact that there has to be a risk involved into it. We live in an ever-changing environment. You have heard about the factors that leads to change. Can be a micro factor that maybe is within our control, or can be a macro factor that is completely outside our control. So the entire business environment keeps on changing, because of which the risk factor is inevitable everywhere. So you need to understand what do you mean by that risk. Moreover, when I say risk, even few other words would be coming in your mind, that risks can be insured, risks cannot be insured. There comes your second point, all about risk and uncertainty. Now, you may be aware that risk and uncertainty generally we consider as synonyms. When I say risk, maybe few of you have already got the word that risk is uncertainty, but actually it is not so. There is a thin line of difference between risk and uncertainty. At least in risk, we can predict that the outcome may occur or may not occur. But in case of uncertainty, we are not even sure about the outcome because we do not know whether such kind of things exist or not. Of course, I shall not go in detail, but these things will be explained in the first chapter already. So you need to understand the difference between a risk and uncertainty. Thirdly, you have to even do few types of risks. Out of all the other types, you need to understand basically 2 types of risk. One that is pertaining to the entity, pertaining to the business, that is business risk. All the risks that are surrounded by a business due to the changing environment is nothing but a business risk. On the other hand, the risks that are created due to the use of funds. Which kind of funds? So definitely the debt funds, the borrowed funds. Whenever a business enterprise borrows money from the outside environment, whether it is a bank, whether it is a money lender, whether it is a shareholder who is investing money in your business, it has some kind of risk involved to it. So definitely that would be your financial risk. Thereafter, you also have to understand the nature of risk. When I say nature of risk, what are the things that constitute nature? What are the things that a risk will involve? And what are the consequences of that risk? Number 5, you have the causes of risk as to which are the factors, which are the things that are leading risk. It can be, I can say, a political cause, it can be economic cause, it can also be a natural cause, technological cause, or a social cause. Meaning to say, there are a number of factors which will create a risk. So those causes you have to understand herewith. Thereafter, you have the kinds of business risk. What are the different types of business risk? Because when you run a business, there is not a single risk that is suffered by every business. There are a number of risks that keep on coming. And a business, in order to survive, has to combat every possible risk. So you need to understand the kinds as well. Once you have understood all about the risk, you need to work for the management of risk. Because when we are running a business, risks will definitely come. But you cannot just be a mere spectator of that risk. You need to take steps. How would you manage that risk? How can we even create that risk into a challenge or an opportunity? You need to take steps for the minimization of risk, because if we do proper planning, if we plan in advance, maybe even if that risk occurs, the probability of the loss or the damage from that risk can be reduced. Lastly, being banking students, you already know that in case you have a risk, that risk can be transferred. When I say transferred, definitely you are transferring that risk, you are shouldering that risk with none other than an insurance company. You have heard about different forms of insurance that are taken up. Could be your life insurance, it could be marine insurance, it could be a fire insurance, and many more. So when you take insurance from an insurance company, it is nothing else but transferring the risk from your shoulder onto the shoulders of the insurance company. So even those things will be covered in this unit. You can go through the topics once more. I hope I was clear with the syllabus content of Unit 1, Risk Management. As I said, you have 4 units and every unit will be covering a weightage of 25%. Moving further, you have Unit number 2. Again, it is a form of management, that is knowledge management. Again, comprising of the weightage of 25%. Now, the moment I say knowledge, few words would have come in your mind that information is knowledge, to know something is knowledge. But again, there is a difference between a mere piece of information and the knowledge that a person holds. So in this chapter also, you need to understand about a systematic management of the organizational knowledge assets. When I say knowledge assets, there are a number of employees in an organization who are having some sort of knowledge, or at least they are collecting, they are learning that knowledge. They know some kind of things, they have some piece of information, so they become the knowledge assets for an organization. And when you manage these assets very well, it will definitely create a value for the organization. When you have the right people with the right knowledge at the right time, if utilized, it will help an organization to take proper decisions. Once you take proper, correct decisions, your efficiency as an organization will increase. Not only that, even when the workers are knowledgeable, their quality of service develops. So next, what you will be studying in the unit are the forms of knowledge, as to which are the different forms, which are the different types of knowledge. Meaning of knowledge management, as I said, you need to manage your knowledge assets in the organization. Once you have the right people and they have the correct knowledge, definitely every decision you take based on this kind of correct knowledge will lead to success. There is a transition from information value to knowledge value, because as I said, information is not always knowledge. You may have some piece of information, but it is either not of value or is it meaningless for the organization. So you need to convert, you need to transform that information into valuable piece of knowledge that can be useful for an organization. You also need to do the goals of knowledge management. When we are managing the knowledge in an organization, what are the goals? What are the objectives we need to achieve? Moving on, in the same unit number 2, you need to again understand topics such as the features of knowledge management. Features, you all know, are the characteristics of knowledge management. Facilitating knowledge management, the methods of acquiring knowledge. There are a number of methods with which the knowledge can be acquired in an organization and by its employees. The process of knowledge management, how knowledge can be managed in an organization. The value of knowledge management, when we are managing the knowledge, how and why is it valuable? What is its value in the business? Benefits of knowledge management, it goes without saying that knowledge management is a must. So definitely it is very beneficial for an organization. Think about a situation where people in the business are taking decisions based on no knowledge or wrong knowledge. It will lead to failure. So you need to have the correct knowledge and you need to know how to systematically manage that knowledge. Implementing knowledge management. Knowledge management can just not remain on paper. It needs to be implemented as well. Thereafter, lastly, you need to align the knowledge management with the intellectual capital. Now, I'm not going into detail with every points because already we are going to study each and every unit and each and every topic of it in the lectures to come. So I'm just going to give you an overview about the different units you have to study and the topics therein. So do not get confused at all. Just pay attention to the things you will be studying for management semester 5. So we have heard about by now risk management and the knowledge management. Comes the third unit, that is learning organization. Again, covering a weightage of 25% that you can see on the right hand side. When I say learning and when I say organization, combine both the words together. So it will become an organization which encourages and facilitates learning. It is encouraging learning process. Now you will say, why should an organization or why as an individual we need to keep on learning? The answer is very simple. You live in an environment that is constantly and rapidly changing. There are a number of changes in number of fields taking place every day. And as an organization, if the organization and its people remain outdated, they do not keep themselves updated with the changes, definitely they would be lagging behind. They would not be able to survive in the environment, in the market. So when I say learning organization, the organization has to encourage learning so that they can transform themselves, they can change themselves and survive in the changing business environment. So you need to understand the introduction, the meaning of the same. Again, you will have the features of learning organization, that is the characteristics of a learning organization. If you are a learning organization, what are the benefits of the same? What are the uses of the same? There is a difference also between a traditional organization and a learning organization. That is, I can say, difference between an organization which is not that adaptive towards learning and the other which is learning and changing with the changing environment. How is learning organization an improvement over traditional organization? Because definitely learning organization is something modern, while traditional is the old school organization. Learning organization has to be an ideal organization. And how would you create a learning organization? What steps have to be taken so that an organization becomes a learning organization? I hope you were clear with the aspects of Unit 3. Coming to the last and the final unit, that is Unit 4, Change Organization. Again, covering a weightage of 25%. Now, when I say change organization, again, it works on the same principles that there are changes going on rapidly and constantly everywhere. It could be change in the customer's taste and preferences. It could be change in the technology aspect. It could be change in any kind of government law, political party, any form of change in the economy. It may happen that yesterday it was a boom and thereafter becomes a recession. So things keep on changing. So when you say change organization or change management, you need to understand it is a systematic approach and application of knowledge tools and resources to deal with that change in the external environment. There are changes taking place in internal environment and in the external environment. So change management will help you apply the knowledge, apply the tools and the resources so that you keep on changing and you adapt those changes in your organization. You need to understand the need for change. Number two, understanding of change as to what are the changes taking place. You need to grab the information on the same. Force for change, the concept, why one needs to change, the nature and the types of change, because there are a number of things that are included in the change and there are a number of types as well. Thereafter, you need to understand how would you manage the change, how that change can be managed and how we can adapt to that change. Because as I said, if we do not change with the changing circumstances, we will remain outdated and sooner or later would be out from the market. Aim of change management as to what are the goals, what are the objectives of change management, what are the key dimensions of change management, the learning and the process of change, how can we learn and what are the steps to be followed to adapt to that change. Lastly, the behavioral and the cognitive approach to the change. So all I can say for this particular semester syllabus of management, you have broadly 4 topics. To begin with, we managed the risk. Thereafter, it was your learning organization. You have also managed the knowledge. And lastly, you have to manage the change. All the units covering a weightage of 25%. I hope you are by now clear with the syllabus structure of management semester 5 and what are the things you need to prepare for in the coming semester. So now I would also begin with the understanding of unit 1, and we would be understanding just 2 concepts basically as to what do you mean by a risk and the difference between risk and uncertainty. So having studied with the syllabus of third year BCom Management semester 5, without any ado, I would begin with the discussion of few topics of Unit 1, that is risk management. Now, I have already talked about the contents that are covered for Unit 1, even in the syllabus discussion. Out of these contents, in today's lecture, I shall be covering two important points. That is the very meaning of risk and why risk and uncertainty are two different terms. As I said, we often confuse them together. We feel risk is synonymous to uncertainty, but actually it is not so. So these are the two topics that I shall be covering in today's lecture. Fine. So before we actually study risk management, you need to answer a simple question as to what is a risk. Do we live a life that has risks? Do we run a business that has risk? Whenever we perform any activity, does it have some kind of risk associated with it? Yes. Whenever you do something new, whenever you accept any sort of a challenge or you are performing any activity, every action will have some or the other risk involved into it. So then what is this risk? When I say that we are running a businessman knows in his mind that the business can either reap him huge profits or can also lead him to a loss. Let me give you a very simple example. Monsoon season is going on. So whenever you step out from your home, you have a risk. The rains may come and the rains may not come. When there is a probability or when there is a possibility of something loss or something negative to happen, it is a risk. If you can read the meaning of risk, whenever there is a possibility of loss, possibility of danger, it is nothing but a risk. In simple terms, I can say that risk is the possibility of something bad happening. Just pay attention to the third paragraph. The risk is the outcome of an action taken or not taken. Now, sometimes it happens that without doing anything also, we invite few risks. Now, what is that? We will be discussing when I explain you uncertainty. But up till now, you just understand that whatever action you are performing, whether you are doing any activity or whether you are running a business, it will have some or the other risk associated with it. So it may result in a loss or gain. It is termed as a chance or loss or exposure to danger arising out of internal or external factors. There are a number of factors that are not within our control. They keep on changing. It can be technology, it can be a government law. For a businessman, even the change in the demand, change in the fashion, taste and preferences of customers will result into risk in the business. But lastly, risks can be minimized through preventive measures. This also we shall be discussing in the coming lectures when I explain you minimization of risk. The second topic for today that you have to understand, it is difference between risk and uncertainty. Now, as I said to many of you, risks and uncertainties are one at the same. Often when I say what is risk, you may be saying that risk is something uncertain. It may happen, it may not happen. Fine. But in management terminologies, there is a thin line of difference between a risk and an uncertainty. Let me give you an example. When I say risk, I told you that there is a possibility, there is a probability of something to happen or not happen. We are running a business. प्रॉफिट भी हो सकता है और लॉस भी होने के चांसेस हैं. That was risk. But think about a situation which is not known to anyone. We do not have any piece of information about a certain event to happen. तो आप उसके रिस्क होने की पॉसिबिलिटी या प्रोबेबिलिटी कैसे प्रिडिक्ट करोगे? A simple example I'll give you. The current pandemic situation that you are facing, COVID-19 situation that you are facing, no one ever knew about such a kind of pandemic. It is a risk event, but it never existed earlier. So these things are uncertain, whose prediction, whose probability or possibility to happen cannot be predicted, cannot be evaluated. But on the other hand, risk, we know that the things may happen or may not happen. Let me give you further understanding on the same. The following slides will clear your doubt between a risk and uncertainty. As you can see, certainty would be something that we know is bound to happen. अगर आपको पता है कि ये चीज होने ही वाली है in the future, it is certain, then it becomes certainty. I know that tomorrow is Friday or tomorrow is Saturday and it will come, it is certain. But risk is a situation where the possible outcomes or the probability of occurrence is not known. I know the situation. मुझे पता है कि ऐसी एक situation होती है, but whether it will happen or it will not happen, the probability, the possibility of occurrence cannot be known. As I gave you an example earlier also, we know it is monsoon season. But today when I step out of my house, I don't know whether rains would come or they won't come. While uncertainty, here situation is also not known, and so its outcome can also not be predicted. आपको वो event भी नहीं पता है, तो इसलिए वो event होगा या नहीं होगा, that also you do not know. That is something known as uncertainty. So by the term uncertainty, we mean the absence of certainty or something which is not known. It refers to a situation where there are multiple alternatives resulting in a specific outcome, but the probability of the outcome is not certain. काफी फैक्टर्स होंगे जिसकी वजह से वो इवेंट हुआ, बट हमें उस इवेंट के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन ही नहीं थी, because of which I even could not guess its probability or possibility. As you can see in the last line also, there is insufficient information or knowledge. So it is hard to define or predict the future outcome or events. I hope I was clear up till now for the difference between risk and uncertainty. Again, I have put up an example to give you an easy difference between the two. On the left-hand side, you see a dice which represents profit and loss. So it is considered to be a risk. I know that there is something known as profit. I know that there is something known as a loss. लेकिन profit होगा या loss होगा, that I don't know. And its probability of possibility also, I don't know. But I know its outcome. I know that when I will do a business, it will give me a profit or it will give me a loss. Another example, you all have played a dice. When you roll a dice, it has 6 numbers. I know that the numbers will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. 7th number तो कभी dice पे नहीं आएगा. But I don't know which number will appear when I roll the dice. So the outcome is known, but its possibility of occurrence is unknown. On the other hand, the second dice that you see, uncertainty, we neither know the outcome nor do we know when it will occur. And that is why it shows yes, no, maybe. So ultimately, what you have to learn, it is a difference between risk and uncertainty. Now, having studied so far about what is risk and what is uncertainty, the points would be very clear to you and you will be able to easily understand them. Let us begin with the meaning first. So, in risk, the probability of winning or losing something worthy is known as a risk. I may win, I may lose, so it is a risk. But uncertainty, it is just a situation where the future events are not known. हमें पता ही नहीं है कि वो इवेंट क्या है, तो वो इवेंट कब होगा या कब नहीं होगा, उसके बारे में तो बिल्कुल भी पता नहीं चलेगा. Number 2, ascertainment. So you can measure the risk to some extent. Now you will say how risks can be measured. To give you an example, even earthquake or even flood or even a tsunami, a cyclone, it is a risky event. But I know what are these events and I know they may occur or they may not occur. How do you measure them? So you can measure some risks based on the past experience. Based on the information from past, you can measure those risks. While uncertainty, it can never be measured because no one knows about such events. As I said, number 3, outcome. Under risk, the chances of outcomes are known. I know the chances. Pay attention to the words. Outcome क्या हो सकता है उसके बारे में आपको idea है, but uncertainty, the outcome itself is unknown. Next point, control. So risks can be controlled to some level because you have some sort of information about it, you have past data about it, you can control. You can take preventive steps for it. If you know it is a monsoon season and it may rain or it may not rain, I would carry an umbrella whenever I go out. But in case of uncertainty, we do not know the outcome, so control karna to possibly nahi hai. Next is minimization. So the risks can be minimized, but uncertainty cannot be minimized. Lastly, probability. You can assign some sort of probability that the risk may occur. Such as the weather forecasting department, they usually forecast whenever any sort of natural calamity is going to hit a particular place. So probabilities can be assigned, but uncertainty, you can never assign a probability to it. To sum up today's discussion on what is risk and what is uncertainty, I can just conclude with one slide that risk is a measurable uncertainty, but uncertainty is unmeasurable risk. Read it again if not understood. When you say risk is same as uncertainty, pay attention that those things which can be measured is a risk, but those which cannot be measured is an uncertainty. I hope I was clear with today's topic as to what is a risk and what is the difference between risk and uncertainty. If you have any doubts, you can ask the doubts to me in the Google Classroom. You can place your comments and I would be answering them at the earliest. See you soon in the next online lecture where we would further discuss from Unit 1, Risk Management. Thank you for the day. Happy learning.